don't have really a whole lot. I'm going to take it down as succinctly as I can. Last week, in the paper, it was written that we've had something to a new low. And that really meant a whole lot. Because that was words that were beyond anything. It's something that just can't be going on. Anyways, so in response to the vitriol and hostility that was voiced and having Dan censored everything that was voiced by Mr. Kanzer and having Dan censored, that works the other way. Because you were loud, you were yelling, you were angry, you were very hostile, and you should be censured. So, what I had, and I'm going to get into, I'm going to give it to you, Jessica. Yeah, this. The official one that I looked out. This is more. But it's a citizen's center. And the other thing that I would like to say, I have to read from my phone. I would like to know why both Dawn and Jessica communicated city things to me outside of city meetings and playing both sides and not working together. That was unprofessional. You both talked to me. You sent me messages. You both told me. You both spoke of things that happened in executive session to me directly. What is going to happen to both of you for doing that?
I didn't believe anything in executive session.
You did.
I responded to your comments on Facebook.
You
And the
did
big
in the
thing
phone
is,
call.
Mary, let's just drop all this crap. Tell me the evidence that you and Dan have against Dustin, and I'll back off. But we're getting along perfect. We get along good. And it seems like every 2 months or every 6 weeks, you start bringing up a whole bunch of more crap, and then you just get everybody stirred up. We were getting along fine until the last meeting. What proof or what you have on Dustin that says that he should be fired or we should get rid of him? I have not seen 1 ounce of evidence, but you post this all the time. And so does Dan. Says, well, I know this, but we as a council have never seen it. All this happened before I got on last October, I believe, and I got on the first year. I have still not seen any evidence of your accusations towards Dustin. If you will show them to me, I'll be glad to agree or disagree with you, but you never come forward with any
You should
proof.
open your eyes a bit.
Okay, but that doesn't have proof though.
I have the proof.
Well, let's see it.
I've already taken care of that. It's in DC with the people it should be.
But DC doesn't speak very highly right now. Anyway, when you got the proof, I'd sure be glad to address it.
They will be investigating and you will be contacted.
Okay, great, but I want you to, what's the proof?
Are we ready to move on? Let's move on, everybody. Does anybody else like to speak publicly? Nobody? Okay, all right. On to unfinished business, the wastewater treatment facility improvement project, land acquisition discussion.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner. Yeah. So we had a kickoff meeting. It was Angela, myself, Brian Foster, and I think that was and Patrick. And Marianne, thank you. And Deborah Old from Central Planning Commission. The North Regional Central Planning Commission. And the first thing that we wanted to talk to you all about in terms of getting this process moving is the process of starting land acquisition discussions. And the second piece of this is we probably will not get funding until next year. So how much do you want me to invest in this project? Because we're going to have to invest in the land acquisition process by paying appraisers, paying people to contact landowners, paying people to and I will get help from Patrick, paying Patrick to help me out with a lot of stuff, and this will be a separate line item that Patrick will be billing the loan for his services to the city for this particular project. And I guess the question is, do you want us to wait until I get the funding in hand, or do you want me to start paying people now?
Do we have the money for you to start now?
In the water sewer fund, yes.
I was gonna say, if we have the water stuff, then I wouldn't have no problem with it, but I don't wanna see us have to borrow or go to negative assets to reach that.
At least start talking to them, you know, whoever, and get a feeling on what they might even think about it.
Now granted, I'm learning from Patrick and I'm learning from the North Regional Central Planning Commission, so I will be relying a lot on them to teach me how to do this. But this is just talking about the concept of how you want me to proceed. So if you're all right with me, continue to work with them and starting to take some of the funds from the water sewer improvement fund. Is probably when I would go through, then that's fine.
What would you like to do? Where would you stand?
I personally would like to get started as soon as possible.
It makes sense to have everything.
I mean, we got the application submitted and we're good there, so the timeline's fine, it's just it's gonna be a little slow at first, and how quickly we wanna go is hard to us.
I would say, yeah,
I'd say
I
go.
mean, if you've got the funds,
And I will submit everything to you again with more specific fund data moving forward, but I just wanted to get your direction. That
Would
was-
you like a motion for that?
We need to figure out whether we are leasing land or if we
Yeah,
are
that's the
purchasing
other.
land,
Oh, okay.
That's the other part of that discussion.
how much. We need at least 130 acres to start with. Total project is 230 acres. So do we want to get that whole 230 upfront, or do we want to get a little bit and then get more later?
Yeah,
So
It's probably not gonna get any cheaper.
you know,
so we have to have 230 for the whole deal, or just 130?
that's the recommendation.
It's 230.
230, yes.
No, well then why are we worried about 130 then?
130 will support current population size.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, so,
Projected growth.
I would worry about the 130 then, if that will support
yeah,
projected for what we have currently. And then go on with maybe later on.
But the second half of that discussion is this is a 40-year note. And so do you want to just plan for the future now with the 40-year note? And then the second part of that discussion is lease or purchase. If we lease, we would pay other people, which has its own trade-offs. If we own, that also has its own trade-offs.
I guess you'd have to talk to the landowners and see what they're willing to sell or if they would rather lease. I mean,
Brian Foster and Deb said to figure this out among council what your preference is before they draft letters to present to landowners.
Yes.
well, do we really need to own the ground? I mean,
I think if they're willing to, I mean, I don't know, that's a lot of money to buy ground. If we can lease it, I think.
what do you guys
it-
think?
Yeah, we work out a deal where it could be leased and they get water rights off of it.
I honestly don't know the answer. I'd have to get that answer for you.
Because if they want to irrigate out of it, they could.
Yes, they would.
So I think you use that as a bargaining tool or an offer to them.
And this, you know, this doesn't commit us to anything. This just gives us an initial direction. And if we decide we want to alter it.
I like Darcy's idea of leasing it and then also giving them on the lease the option to have the water for irrigation.
Has Patrick said anything about having any conversations with them?
He was a part of the initial conversation, but I have not had a specific conversation on which way he recommends we go on this.
Might want to hear his opinion.
Yeah, that's right.
Like they said, we can revisit this next meeting if you want me to gather more data for you. And talk to Patrick, because it is a pretty big direction which way we go. We just want to start the conversation.
You might tell him we're leaning that way and see what he says.
Okay. I can have a conversation. We could have everything around.
Okay, no vote needed or just direction? Okay.
Yep.
All right, moving on to new business, the 2025 mitigation rates, resolution 2024-30.
Mr. Mayor, permission to speak?
Go ahead.
Thank you. This is just following through with what you directed me to do last year, which is renew the mitigation fees every year. I've raised a couple, but for the most part, they're the same. I think I raised the truck factor combination 400. I added an administrative charge. I added some additional equipment that we didn't have before, like the 48-inch lawnmower, but most of it's the same. I think then the gas mileage are only raised to $6 per mile, and that's the current rates. It's between 5, 6, depending. Goal of these charges is to have them more than what they should be, so we're not competing with local. That was per my guidance last year, so I'm just maintaining that same guidance, because we don't want to take away from local service providers.
I think it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? All right, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution 2024-30 to set mitigation rates for 2025.
I'll second it.
Councilor Bernard has made a motion to keep them, approve the mitigation rates, resolution 2024-30 for the 2025 year. Councilor Panzer has seconded that motion. Any debate or concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, the next item is the establishment of new municipal court and diversion fees, ordinance 3157.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I want to thank Mariana and the police department for researching these. This is all a result of their work. What I've asked of Mariana is to basically dig into our ordinances. She's doing a great job. And I want to thank the department heads for assisting her with these. We know that we can't continue to ask for ad valorem increases. So what we're also in the process of doing is examining all of our fees to make sure that our fees are updated so that we can start offsetting some of the costs so that it's targeted to the people that use the services as opposed to just using a blanket ad valorem. We're trying to update all our process all around. And in this particular instance, thanks to the work of Mariana and Angela and the city clerk's office and the police department, we are introducing new ordinances to update these fees for court and diversion specifically.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 3157 in order to amend the municipal court and diversion fees.
I'll second that.
Councilor Hanson has made a motion to approve the ordinance 3157, establishing a new municipal court and diversion fees. Councilor Bernard has seconded that motion. Any debate or concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Looks like the incorporation of the League of Kansas Municipalities Code of Procedure for Kansas Cities, ordinance 3158. Dustin, you want to explain that one?
Sure. I did not participate in this. This was a project by Patrick and Mariana. They are just simply it was recommended to us to adopt the League of Kansas Municipalities Code of Procedures as an administrative proposal for the decorum of the council meeting. It just, instead of just having it be willy-nilly, to actually give specific procedures that we should all be following. You know, that'll help maintain decorum, and it'll also help provide some structure. And Patrick chose to leave me out of it because he wanted it to be a city clerk. It wanted to be a city recommendation, not protect me recommendation. So
Is this what he was talking about last time?
yes.
Yeah.
And they've put a lot of work into this, and I want to thank Patrick and Mariana for doing this. But it's just a administrative solution to try to solve some of the problems. And instead of reinvent the wheel, we took it from our Kansas City municipalities.
So we need to approve the ordinance 3158.
Yeah,
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the ordinance 3158 of the League of Municipalities Code of Procedure, Kansas City.
I'll second that.
All right, Council Panzer has made a motion to approve the Corporation of League of Kansas Municipalities Code of Procedure for Kansas City's ordinance 3158. Council Renard has seconded that motion. Any debate or concerns?
if this passes, I will give you guys the pamphlets, with the amendments to it with the ordinance. We have one copy of the handbook, but I put it in the agenda packet, so it's available to you guys. When Patrick and I do our training, this essentially replaces Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Procedure, so we don't have to do the craziness. But like Dustin said, this gives a structure, but this is what we'll be training you guys on.
All right, we can vote on, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. I think we're up to amending cemetery fees, ordinance 3159.
Mr. Mayor, same concept. We're just going through all our fees and trying to update them. And I really want to thank Mariana and Patrick again, because they've been scouring our ordinances to make sure that along with our fee schedule, we're doing the ordinance updates along with the fee schedule. Just bringing, making dress for lack of a better term. So this is just a part of that update.
So we're basically keeping it the same. Yeah,
Realistically, we're just taking out the set fees in the ordinance and making it so that we can update the fees via the fee schedule resolution each year.
yeah. Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 3159 in order to set cemetery fees via the fee schedule resolution.
Council Renard has made a motion to approve ordinance 3159, setting the fee schedule for the cemetery fees, and Councilor Hanson has seconded that motion. Any debate or concerns about this? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item, the 2025 20.25% sales tax ordinance 3160. Go ahead, Dustin.
Mr. Mayor, this is just the paperwork that will solidify the vote. It just happened, I believe, what was it, 5? Yeah, it was 5-3 for ratio approval, so this is just the paperwork to make it happen. And this is submitted to us by our bond counsel, Kevin Kelly, last week.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 3160 to re-implement the 1/4% sales tax starting July 1st, 2025.
I'll second it.
All right, Councilor Renard has made a motion to approve the ordinance 3160.25% sales tax. Councilor Panzer has seconded that motion. Any concerns about this? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Thank you.
All right, Darcy,
Aye.
Don,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Jessica,
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Did you get those, Mariana? Okay, all right, so the next one. Amending the pool fees, utility charge and entry fees, ordinance 3161.
Mr. Mayor, this is just us making sure that we're dressed right dress. While we did get your approval to update the pool fee last year by the vote and the schedule, this actually has to be done by ordinance. So this is the ordinance to make the fee that you approved last year match what is in the vote. And we're also making some administrative updates.
I'll make the motion to approve ordinance 3161 amending the pool fees.
A second.
All right, Counselor Panther has made a motion to approve ordinance 3161 amending the pool fees. Counselor Johnson has seconded that motion. Any debate or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Next item is the discussion of the date for the second December council meeting. Discussion of December water termination requests. So it's basically the same thing as the meeting. What does it fall on now?
The 23rd.
23rd. We talked about just having one meeting in December, and last year they said it's just an imposition, it's too difficult. Is there still a possibility just to have one and
We'll make it whatever you decide work.
two is tough? The way it's falling, so. Because they're not gonna wanna do the 24th. They're not gonna wanna do the 22nd, which is Sunday. Certainly not gonna do the 25th, 26th things too, so. Something to think about.
I mean, if we could get it all in on one, I'd be, 'cause I don't know, I might not even be around.
If we needed to, we could call an emergency meeting, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
The only big thing, clerk's office wise, is that the second council meeting is when we would submit our requests for extension of water terminations. If residents have to get those requests in sooner, because we move a meeting, we need to know that date. Conversely, if we don't want to have a meeting at all to consider those, is there a way to just give the grace and preemptively approve all requests that would come in? Do we want to?
What do we average? How many requests?
One or two, for that time of year, I'm not sure, but recently it's just been a couple. And you guys have been approving them. But functionality wise for the clerk's office, we do need to have that turn off date. Because otherwise people will get extremely behind in their bills, and then they'll be looking at $600 to $700 for a reconnect fee. So to function, the city clerk's office, we have to do our terminations. So do you want to preemptively approve anything that comes in around this? After that first meeting, do you want to give Dustin the ability to grant the extensions?
So that way there's still some discernment.
Well, yeah, have we ever turned one down? I mean, I don't remember ever voting one down. Termination? Since I've been on.
We would leave it up to Dustin's discrimination.
If it's a,
Yeah.
or if we have to,
Discretion, not discrimination. Don't say that.
Might give us the wrong
Discretion.
They say determination or discrimination?
Discrimination.
Discrimination more, that's all.
He can terminate him if he wants to, but,
It's what you want us to do.
I say we have one meeting, and if we have to have an emergency, I'm willing to do it.
yeah.
And then in terms of the,
Could be
Yeah,
nice
that's
too, right?
and in terms of the terminations, did you want us just to assume approval or?
Unless it's out of the ordinary.
Right, you get 5, 6, 7, it looks like, yeah.
So you're all right with my
What is the
discretion?
date for the one in December?
23rd.
That's some
23rd.
When the
request.
first one?
What's- All right.
Yeah, it's a nice.
Really, that's not that far since it's turned back on the 9th. I think we'd be fine. I'll make a motion that we have the one city council meeting on the 9th. And we'll leave it up to Dustin's discretion if we need to have a special meeting held between the 9th and the first of the year.
I'll second.
Councilor Pansy has made a motion to go ahead and just have the one meeting in December on December the 9th and leave the discretion for any cutoffs to Dustin. Councilor Hanson has seconded that motion. Any debate or discussion over this item? So we're just gonna have one meeting in December, it'll be your discretion. If we have a problem, we'll return
Right.
some way. Okay, hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Last item, the new business is government ethics. We started talking about it last week. We want to kind of grow from what Rick was talking about. We don't want to keep doing this every 2 or 3 years, clearly not. So I think we'll have more details in the future, but I think one of the positive things that has occurred is Patrick has reached out with more information about the investigation of the diversion program and the KDI investigation that happened middle of this year. And so we're gonna have more dialogue and kind of determine exactly how do we, the people, have enough information to where we feel good about it. At this point, we just don't have enough, and I think that's really the foundation of our disagreement, is we just don't have enough information. Some of it's conflicting, some of it's rumor. We want to get as much as we can. That is not a promise that we're gonna know everything within a couple months, but we'll know more. And that's a positive step forward. So we're gonna know more, and that's a positive step forward. All right, next item. Department heads. City inspector
He is out sick too.
is out sick. Okay, fire chief, no Ralph. Golf superintendent, not here. On to the police chief. Come on up, Chief Penny.
So you got all the calls for service for last month. The major one that we had obviously was the 18-wheeler accident. Everybody was okay and online for everything injuries, so that was a blessing, because it was pretty bad. The other thing I have is trunk or treat. The first responders trunk or treat went off really well, had good attendance, had good participation from the first responders and other groups to help us out with it, so want to commend the community for all that.
Very good.
That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, Chief Penny. Ronnie, do you have anything?
So I wanted to talk to you guys tonight a little bit. I know in the next couple meetings or we're going to talk about fee increases. But I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the pool and kind of what we've been doing there. As far as, we talked about $1 charge for all city residents. Kind of some things that Katie and I are looking at. Just want to, if you have any feedback or thoughts, this is all gonna be new. Some things we're looking at is doing like a card system. So if they, our city resident, they wanna say, instead of paying $1 each time for the family, we'll have like 3 different colored cards. So like if they have a green card, they'll pay like a $30 fee, and that's for the summer, and that they just show that. They don't have to pay their $1, they get in. And then the second one, like a red card, that's the one that they'll just show and they have to pay $1. And the third option would be a purple card for the people outside the residence that want to buy a pool pass. So that way the people at the door just, they know that purple, they bought a pool pass. The one thing too is on the form, in the past, we've always had 10 or 11 people on that form. And we need to shrink that down just for the fact that, it was pretty much a free for all for people who get into the pool. The rec needs to become more self-sufficient and be able to operate on their own. Now as a form, we kind of have some options as far as, do we keep it as, each residence, have their household name listed on the card. Each residence will be allowed up to 6 live-in members on the card. But the only issue is with that is there will be people in town that pay that fee, that all their kids are gone. And so, you know, that they're gonna be upset about that. Because they're probably not using the pool, but if they got grandkids coming, that would utilize the pool. So, I guess what we're looking at is, do we just put a certain amount of 6 lines on there, and put whomever they want on there, babysitter, et cetera? Or, you know, that's kind of what we're kind of wrangling with right now, is how we
Could
want to
you
go.
just put like family only on, like if it's people that don't like have grandkids, like it has to be only family members.
Yeah, that would be fine. I mean, I think we have a household. I think we need to take that off.
Right, but
And
I'm just thinking if it's just like this consists of grandkids like that, it's your grandkids and they're coming in from, you know. Kids that live in the country, it's not all that, it's just if you have grandkids, that's who's gonna go on that list.
Right, and I think maybe we might look at 2, possibly 1 guest in case they do have a babysitter that watches their kids in the summer. You know, that's another option, but you know, then it's adding another line. You know, it's where do you stop it? So that's just kind of where we're at with that. So I just know with the, you know, the fee schedule coming up that we're gonna be talking about. I just wanted to get this out there. You know, you guys have thoughts or, you know, suggestions, I guess.
I like the card, the color thing, because it'll be easier for the guards within the door or working the front thing, so they know instead of having to struggle through lists or whatever. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and you know, we also talked about is, you know, if I'm just using 6 as an example, do you make up 6 cards or do you make the family responsible for 1 card? You know, that's. In each card you make, that's more money, that's your.
Yeah, I mean, this is something too, you could institute it this year. Knowing it's not the perfect final project.
Right.
Come back in 2026 with something really good that everybody's happy with.
Yeah.
Could be a 2-step process.
Yeah, definitely gonna be growing pains. for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
I know some HOAs that have pools in their neighborhood, it's 1 card.
Yeah, and I just soon do that because we're looking at purchasing a card machine that every department can use for different things, so.
To me, it's no different than the fob for the rec center or the thing. It's, you're responsible for one, for the whole family.
Right.
I don't think it should be any.
What if, I got a question, what if my kid goes, one kid goes up, he's in the pool, my daughter comes up, can he give her the card so she can get in, or how's that gonna be?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
You know, that's what I'm saying, cause they might not get along to go together.
Trust me, I'm glad about that too. Yeah.
But I mean, if he's in there and he had the card. That
My
would be the
thing
only
is,
thing.
my thing is too is, you know, I know what people are gonna ask is, can you just keep my card in the pool?
Well, that's.
And I don't really wanna do that because then we're not really, we're doing everything we're still doing. I mean, we have all the forms up at the pool, and I can guarantee you know, not all my guards look at the forms every time somebody comes in the pool. You
Well, I
know,
think
there's
they need to be
300
responsible. If he loses the card, guess what? He don't go to the pool. You gotta find him. I mean, that's great.
Yeah, and then there'll be a
They should
replacement,
bring him to the pool.
there'll be a replacement cost for that too, if they
Yeah.
do lose the card.
And most of the guards are gonna know after the first 2
Sure.
weeks, which people have cards and which people don't.
And which people belong, they're gonna
Yeah,
know
they're gonna-
Tyler's kids belong
they're
there,
gonna
you
know
know, I
the
mean.
Sure.
There's kids that are there enough, you
Yeah.
figure out quickly who they belong, I mean, siblings and, you know, I think, in my opinion.
And we did say that like with the 6 people, you know, if they do have more than that and live under their household, they will need to come to the rec center to verify that. You know, with us, because there are families bigger than 6 people, so I mean, we understand that, so. I think that's might be what we go with, I mean, do you guys think as far as 6 plus 1 guest, or in case like a babysitter, or 5 plus 1?
really don't, do we need the answer tonight?
No, I'm just,
I mean, these are
I just don't want to come here and then
Right,
we're throwing the fee schedule at you and once you
right,
get
no,
done.
I appreciate that,
I
yeah.
mean,
Too,
you
so-
probably figure what average five household families in town.
Yeah, we're figuring mom and dad or, you know, 2 adults and 4 kids. That's where we came up with 6, but you know, this day and age, that's quite a few.
Right.
Yeah, so, but
But I do like the maybe like having a +1 like for our babies, because there are a lot of they do hire teenagers for the summer, so I
I
think
think
that's
the
fair.
+1 also could be for a friend, we can't really, yeah, I mean, they got a good buddy, they get back to where we were, yeah.
And daycare, when they come up there,
well, they're on that, you know, they've always communicated with me that, hey, are these people that live in the city?
Okay.
And so they always give me the list of those kids that are coming up there, so, you know, that's something else we're gonna have to look at too, but just like Mayor said, I mean, we'll have some really good things for sure with that. I'm sure there'll be some people that won't understand, but that's just part of it, so. But no, just wanted to let you guys know
Yeah,
that.
appreciate that, because we talked about that during the budget process, didn't we? Yeah, and our Chief Penny's followed up on some stuff too, we haven't really talked about, we got from that conversation, good,
Sure.
that's good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Ronnie.
Thanks.
All right, streets, do we have streets back there? See anybody, I see David. David, you wanna do water?
About the Rural today.
Sure. Yeah, come on up.
Dave Holmes with the city of Oakland. We had a company come in and check our clear well out and made sure that everything was good. And there was very little debris inside the clear well. And they looked at all the pedals that's down there, and they thought everything was pretty good, so, another 10 years down the road, we have it done again. I just feel that, you know, everything went real good compared to what was years ago, you know, when we used to go in there and do it ourselves. We had sludge up to our knees, you know, when we went down there and clean. And now it's none of that. I'm saying, many more plants doing this job that we have, you know, desire to have it done.
Appreciate it. All right, nobody else, the department head, city attorney's not here, city clerk.
Staff is going to hold their quarterly employee luncheon on December 20th. The Friday leading up to Christmas, so Christmas lunch. They have asked for your approval to have a half day that day. What do you guys think?
We've done that in the past, right? 20th. Not having a meeting the 23rd, so that might be a good send off. It's at noon, gonna grill steaks, the same.
Noon, chicken fried steak, I think is what Patrick Campbell is planning.
Okay. I like it, yeah.
As always, y'all can come help serve.
This is when you wanted more of us to come, right?
I know they've appreciated it in the past.
But the bonuses go to them,
Yes.
because we've been through that, okay?
And then secondly, Nathan Florian, the EMS director, put on L2. Our first responders today. Last year, I started the Battle of the Badges food drive. This year, Nathan's expanded on it and turned it into a first responders food drive, just in general. He's kind of taken the helm on it. And that is going to be held on the 15th and 16th. So just in the end of this week, so food drive. And everything that's collected will be donated to the food bank. So shameless plug there.
That it? All right, city administrator.
So I wanted to add to the water sewer, we installed the Good Sam's new meter today. It did have a few pickups. So we had to, I asked Mitch to come help today, and I want to thank Mitch for helping our water crew get through. But now there was a lot of things that were not done well, so we completely replaced the water meter. We upgraded it to there were 2 water meters there before. Now there's 1. And we completely rebuilt the line. The old line was encased in cement and it was really hard for our guys to work on. Guys and gals now, it's easily, they can, if they need to, they can dig it up and work on it. It's a lot more efficient. City plumbing for that. I also am working with an engineer because the water meter at the Ellsworth Correctional Facility is not working. And so we are trying to get that upgraded, but Mitch did not feel comfortable working with that because it's way beyond his scope of understanding. So I first reached out to Kurt and Michael, they didn't want to do it. So I reached out to Wilson and Company, Doug Gowitz, who's an engineer. I've gotten advice from the past from Wilson and Company. He's working with us to redesign the water meter set up there because there's just a lot of extra stuff that shouldn't be there. So I'm working with the reason why I feel it needs to be replaced is because based on everything I'm hearing from them, Kansas Rural Water also came up to help advise me on this. We're losing money. Or there's a lot of water that is not being tracked. And so that's a huge facility not to have water tracks. So I do think that it's important that we get the cavity rebuilt and get a new meter in there so we're properly measuring the water.
Didn't they say we were losing 1/3 of our water over?
No, not there. That's just.
I mean, the whole system,
Yes.
yeah.
But this is not water loss. This is just, we don't know how much is going to the meter. It's only based on that one. I can't explain the setup. It's way above my understanding that there's one meter that we get a reading off of. And we don't know how accurate it is because it's a 4-inch line that's separate from an 8-inch line. So what they're not sure of is what's getting to the prison and what's not, what's fire suppression and what's not. And so it'd just be nice to get that completely rebuilt so we know exactly how much water is going there and we can bill them for it.
And I'm pretty sure this has been that way since like Rusty was here. Didn't we have this discussion when Rusty was here about that?
I'm not sure.
I think we did.
Been a while.
But it's just me trying to tighten our shop group. And that's a pretty big user of water and want to make sure that we're billing for it, especially with all the projects that we've got going on. It's kind of the same theory with the water meter at the Good Sam. These are both mechanical meters and they're old. And so when mechanical meters get old, they do not measure as much. And so it's just nice to get them updated. We got to do that at the hospital too at some point. But I think those are all the things I've got. Everything else is sent you in my email. But based on the text messages I got, everything's working. So the upgrade has been made. Good Sam's back online. I do apologize to the town for the brief loss of water pressure while we had to correct ourselves, but it seems to be fixed.
That it, Dustin?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. City Council, Tyler.
I don't have anything tonight.
Okay. Jessica?
No.
Aaron? Don?
Yes. On a positive note with Mary, she asked me on Facebook if I would check into the handicap parking. Is that correct, Mary?
Yes.
Yes. So,
Sorry, Rec Center?
no,
Oh, this side here, okay.
so I went down Main Street, walked down both sides, and I noticed we have 15-minute parking in certain areas with green curves. And I'm thought we can't enforce the 15-minute parking anyway. So could we make those 15-minute parking areas, could we make those handicap areas?
Yeah, we can do that.
And if we made them handicap areas, That would eliminate the signs, which we've all had trouble with enforcing the 15 minutes. The only place that I could see where we need more handicap would be on the front corner of the Swati Sherman Hoffman building, then across from the old credit union. There's no handicap parking for there to go on down the street to the south. So I don't know if we need our street or our police to look at that, but one easy thing would be just to convert those over to handicap. And we wouldn't be losing anything, just the green paint to blue.
That 15-minute parking over on that side street over there, though, that entire thing's 50, so I don't think you want that entire area.
No, I mean the ones right on Main Street, yeah, right on Main Street. That's just an idea,
Sure.
I do agree with Mary, and then Mary also brought up that it's on the courthouse, back of the courthouse. But I think that's private property, isn't it?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, so we have to make the commissioner will address that, Mary, behind the courthouse.
Oh, because of the parking, that you saw the picture.
Yeah, I saw the picture,
Yeah.
yeah,
One time I was, Teddy Swati actually walked me out and the shit gets me keep from falling.
okay,
And then the last time I went to vote and when I took the pictures.
yeah,
Because that's everything.
but that's county, so. Like Peggy Swati can tell the commissioners about it, if they get something done
Yes, she
there.
does.
Yeah.
The clerk's office of the courthouse has been made aware of that,
Okay,
specifically from Mary's
Okay.
experience.
so would we want our police to do that or our street department to look at that?
It'll be a team effort.
Team effort, okay,
We are gonna be removing those signs anyway as per our last discussion.
yeah, so that way it'd be easier to make them handicap parking.
Okay.
Okay, the trash container up at Helvy's trailer house had been moved. And so I just stopped in and talked to Tony. I said, did they get that full? He says, no. But he says in self-defense to Mr. Helvy and Mr. Keller on his lot. He said, I'm in a predicament where I need these bins for some demolition that's going on. So he said, I took the one from Helvy. And I took a half a load one to Keller's and they filled it up with iron. So those two places are waiting for Tony to get extra containers to put their waste in before they clean up. So I thought it'd be considerate of the city to at least know that. Because we don't want to climb on over them if Tony can't supply them with the containers right now. Tony thinks maybe the first of the year he'll be caught up enough where he'll get containers, or in December sometime, to both of those people, Mr. Keller and Mr. Hill. Okay. And then, on the property of the gentleman that passed away out by Joanne's, I believe that sold last week on the sheriff's auction.
It was supposed to be sold on the 7th. I don't.
Yeah,
It
and
was,
I think it went for $500
really.
and an out-of-state investor, I think, bought it from the bank.
You talking about Mr. Urban's property?
Yes.
He came to introduce himself
Oh, he did, okay.
and he's basically buying it just to resell it. That's what he told Delvin. So I told him I wanted it done and he's like, look, I know what I'm doing. That's what he told Delvin and I.
Okay.
So he's gonna be reselling it and then we'll get to work with whoever his.
So is he gonna fix it up to resell it or just sell it as it is?
I didn't get into specifics, but my impression, my interpretation is that he just wants to sell
So
it.
they
I tried
were-
pushing him to get it fixed and
Yeah,
he wasn't interested.
so in other words, you're aware of the situation, so that way the guys know to do the inspection stuff.
Yes.
And believe it or not, I think that's all I have.
Good. Darcy, got anything else? Nothing? My comments, I'll keep them short too. I just was accepted into Leadership KFB, so it's the Leadership Kansas Farm Bureau program. I'll be in the 2025 class. It's the same program that Craig and Abby Weimer did in 2023. You basically meet every month around the state and talk about leadership issues, and then you go to DC in September. And you graduate December of 2025. So I'm really proud of that. I use this conflict of all things. Most of my questions that I interviewed about were about the conflict that we've had since January. And so I thought this is risky, but I'll be honest and talk about it, and not in detail, but in ways that I could have handled it better. So that speaks to what Rick said. So clearly it worked out. And Craig will be going next year, to the next level, which is the Castings Fellows Program through KFB, so. But the December KFB board meeting, they'll make that announcement and you and Karen will get the information, you can put in the paper. But just kind of want to make that announcement to everybody, so I'm proud of that, and with that said, I have no other comments, so. Make a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right, President of the Council, Jessica, and has made a motion, and Don has seconded the motion to adjourn. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.